Welcome back to Red Recapped. Today's movie is The Guest, released in 2014. There will be some spoilers in the following, so let's begin the film without further ado. The Guest starts off by introducing a woman named Laura Peterson who is grieving the loss of her son, Caleb, a soldier who died in the war in Afghanistan. Laura is feeling sad when a man named David Collins, a former U.S. Army sergeant and a supposed friend of Caleb's during their time in Afghanistan, pays her a visit. David tells Laura that he came to her house because Caleb's will instructed him to convey his love to his family. Upon hearing the last message from her late son, Laura starts crying, which makes David feel guilty for causing her sadness. However, instead of blaming him, Laura thanks David for delivering Caleb's message and invites him to stay at their house for as long as he wants. While Laura and David engage in casual conversation, Laura's daughter, Anna, appears and prepares to say goodbye to her mother as she heads to work. Laura introduces David to Anna before she leaves. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Caleb's younger brother, Luke, is still at school. Luke is a quiet student who doesn't have any friends, making him a target for bullying by his classmates. Before going home, Luke's bullies even throw his face into a school locker. When Luke arrives home, David introduces himself as Caleb's friend and tries to get to know him. Upon noticing the slight bruise on Luke's face, David asks him about it. However, Luke lies and claims that he accidentally injured himself while playing football. Shortly after, Spencer, Laura's husband, arrives home. Just like Laura, Spencer warmly welcomed David into their house, allowing him to stay as long as he wanted. Spencer and David had a lengthy conversation, during which Spencer shared a problem he was facing at work. Meanwhile, Anna was alone with her boyfriend, Zeke, and she confided in him about David. The next day, Luke was surprised when David picked him up from school. David didn't believe Luke's explanation about the bruises on his face and asked him to point out the bullies. Luke identified a group of students who often bullied him. David and Luke followed the bullies to a bar, where David initially tried to undermine their confidence by buying them expensive drinks. However, the bullies felt insulted and ended up pouring the drinks on David, leading to a physical altercation. David then used his knowledge of the law and bribery to persuade the bartender not to report the incident. Following that, David instructed Luke to confront everyone who bullied him. The scene shifts to Anna and David attending a Halloween party at one of Anna's friends' houses. Anna introduced David to her boyfriend, Zeke, as well as her friends Kristen and Craig. David made a positive impression on Anna's friends, and they quickly became friends. During the party, Kristen's ex-boyfriend showed up and caused a scene because Kristen rejected him due to his rude behavior. David intervened and managed to handle the situation by defeating the ex-boyfriend. Inspired by David's heroic act, Kristen took him to her room, and they spent some time together. Afterward, David approached Craig and inquired about purchasing a gun. Craig asked for the reason, but David claimed it was because he was a soldier and soldiers have an affinity for guns. Craig mentioned knowing someone who used to sell guns and offered to introduce David to him, but David needed to prepare the money. After arranging a meeting between David, Craig, and the gun dealer, David and Anna headed home. During their journey, Anna offered to create a compilation CD for David. The next day, Anna overheard a strange conversation between David and someone on the phone, raising her suspicions. She started investigating David Collins, the person living in their house, and first contacted the military base to verify his identity. The military promised to investigate David Collins and share the information with Anna. In response to the news about David, a private company called KPG, led by Major Carver, formed a special forces team and headed towards the Petersons' house. It was eventually revealed that the real David Collins had already died, and the person currently living in the Petersons' house was an imposter. However, their true intentions for disrupting the Petersons' lives remained unknown. The scene then shifts to David, who is about to buy a gun from a contact of Craig's. Craig accompanies him during the transaction. After displaying the money, the gun dealer presented various pistols for David to try out. Unexpectedly, David had no intention of buying the gun. He killed both the gun dealer and Craig, seizing all the guns for himself. Meanwhile, Anna received information from the military base confirming that the David Collins living in their house was an imposter because the real David Collins had died. Anna immediately shared this information with her parents, but they didn't believe her. Determined to prove her suspicions, she decided to steal David's cell phone and take a photo of the recent call list. Shortly after, Anna received a call from Zeke, who informed her that someone had killed Craig and falsely implicated him in the crime. On the flip side, it is revealed that Spencer's boss at work has died under mysterious circumstances, which leads to Spencer getting the promotion he always wanted. In the evening, during dinner with the Peterson family, Anna discloses David Collins' true identity. However, David manages to convince Laura and Spencer with his persuasive words and by showing them his military identification necklace. Laura and Spencer disregard Anna's warning once again and choose to believe David, which frustrates Anna and strengthens her determination to expose the truth about David. The next day, while dropping Luke off at school, Anna asks her younger brother to find out the number David had dialed on his cell phone. Meanwhile, David assists Laura with drying the clothes and goes inside the house to collect the rest of the laundry. After David leaves, Major Carver and his special troops arrive, questioning Laura about David's whereabouts. Laura reveals that David is inside the house, and anticipating Carver's arrival, David immediately attacks the special forces in a shootout. Carver tries to protect Laura, but she runs into the house instead. David sustains a gunshot wound to the thigh but quickly bandages it and kills all the special force members, except for Carver. David locates Laura, who is hiding in the kitchen, confused about the people who wanted to kill him. She asks him about it, but David remains silent because his cover has been exposed. He then stabs Laura with a kitchen knife and drives away from the scene. On his way, David's vision is obstructed by dust, causing him to collide with another car driven by Spencer on his way home. David shoots Spencer in the chest, killing him. Carver, despite his car's tire being damaged, continues to pursue David. Eventually, Carver discovers the accident involving David's car but loses track of his whereabouts. Carver finds Spencer's lifeless body at the accident scene and asks a passerby to lend his car so he can pick up Anna and Luke and ensure their safety before David finds and kills them. Carver promptly takes Anna to the restaurant where she works. There, he reveals his identity to her and informs her about her parents' deaths at the hands of David. Carver further discloses that David is a test subject in a military medical experiment and has been programmed to eliminate anyone who poses a threat to his identity. Even if David wants to stop, he is unlikely to do so. Devastated by the news of her parents' death, Anna immediately contacts her younger brother, who is preparing for a Halloween party at school. Shortly after Carver and Anna leave the restaurant, David arrives there in a car. He inquires about Anna's whereabouts from Kristen but proceeds to shoot her dead and blow up the restaurant with a grenade, suspecting Kristen's intentions. Finally, David heads to the school to kill Luke. Meanwhile, Carver and Anna reach Luke's school before David's arrival and enter a haunted house set up for Halloween. They eventually find Luke, who is cleaning the place. Anna embraces Luke, relieved that her brother is safe. Suddenly, all the lights go out, and eerie music starts playing, which David orchestrated from the audio room using the compilation CD Anna had given him. David had also turned off the lights, intending to kill them all on the spot. The three of them follow Luke's teacher's guidance and rush out of the location. However, David, anticipating their escape, immediately confronts them and kills Luke's teacher, who was at the front. Witnessing this, Carver instructs Anna and Luke to find another way out while he confronts David alone. Despite being a major, Carver is unable to stop David, who is a trained soldier, and he ultimately gets killed. On the other hand, Anna and Luke manage to find an exit, but David locks it with chains, trapping them inside. Anna instructs Luke to hide while she confronts David. Initially hesitant, Luke eventually agrees after learning that their parents were killed by David, and he takes the knife David gave him just in case. To make a long story short, Anna confronts David and shoots him with Carver's gun. However, David still manages to get up and attacks her from behind, stabbing her in the leg. Anna falls to the floor, and David tries to strangle her. As Anna tries to aim the gun at David, she encounters a misfire that not only fails to harm David but also damages the light, causing a fire to break out. Worried about his sister, Luke rushes to Anna's aid. He swiftly stabs David twice with a knife, freeing Anna from his grasp. Surprisingly, instead of being angry, David expresses pride in Luke, acknowledging that he did the right thing. He gives Luke a thumbs up before losing consciousness. Shortly after, the police, accompanied by ambulances and firefighters, arrive at the school. Anna and Luke are rescued but appear deeply traumatized by the entire ordeal. While they sit and rest inside the ambulance, they overhear firefighters discussing that only 2 bodies have been found. As some firefighters start to leave the school, Anna notices one of them limping. To her shock, the firefighter turns to face her, revealing that it was David in disguise, attempting to secretly flee the scene. That's all from the video. Thanks for watching. And, take care.